Hello guys, my name's Virgoe and welcome to our van. Let me show you around. First thing we like to do when we get to a campsite is I like to swivel these front two seats around. It's a really easy thing to do. We've got this swivel seat mechanism which is held on by 6 of these bolts. So you simply undo these bolts. I've already taken 4 out. Undo the last 2. And then that allows the seat to turn round on itself. And then it's simply as easy as that, just to turn the seat round. And then what we normally do is pop a couple of the bolts back in there just to secure it while we're in the back of the van. So now you can see with this double seat swiveled round, that's opened up this whole living space, and that's probably given us another 2 or 3 feet of extra living room. So that really has changed it massively. Originally we were going to put an L-shaped seat in here and leave the bulkhead in, but I think this has really changed it and given us a lot more freedom and a lot more space. This is the table arrangement in our van, and this is a leg on leg. It's an adjustable leg, and it's from the marine and boat industry. There's a lot of similarities between van building and boat building, and there's a lot of things that you can source from marine and the boat industry that you can use in your van, so it's always worth checking those out. This allows us to have the table in this position at the bench seat, so we can sit here. It also allows us to spin the table around to these 2 front seats, so we can have somebody sitting here. And then sometimes we just stow the table away like that, and then we can use it to put things on, or we can even have it between us. I can use it here and Lou can use it over here. So it's really versatile. And then lastly, if we want to get rid of the leg altogether, it simply lifts off, folds away, and then we can store that either behind the driver's seat or in the cab. One of the first things that we fitted in our van was a reversing camera, because we haven't got any rear windows. So we put a camera at the back where the brake light would be at high level, and then we've got a video screen up front here. It's linked to the reverse gear, so when you put the van into reverse, the camera automatically comes on. And then what I have done in addition to that is I've fitted a little switch up here in the headliner, so I can flick the switch, it will put power onto the camera, and then I can automatically see what's outside without having the van on or without having it in gear. So it's quite a nice little safety feature. We can be parked up at night with all the curtains closed, we can flick this switch and instantly see if anybody's outside the back doors. To give us some extra storage in the cab area, there was a big space above our heads here, so we've put a shelf in here, plywood shelf, we lined it with silver carpet, and then we've basically created another cupboard up here. And then this is what we use to store some extra bedding, or we actually store our screens for the front screen in here. And it just gives us another little cupboard and makes use of this space which would basically be wasted otherwise. Everything in the van is built with Zebrano. It's a lightweight furniture board, it's 15mm thick, it's made of poplar, and then it's got a high pressure laminate both sides. And we chose this Zebrano, and a high gloss finish is the one that we really liked. And then what I've done as best as possible, you'll notice, is I've tried to match the grain on all these cupboard doors so it looks continuous all the way through the van. These screen covers are what we use, and they've got a dual purpose. They've got this reflective foil on the inside, and what that does is that reflects all the sun's radiant rays back through the windscreen. So during the day when the sun's out and it's nice and warm like it is today, that helps to keep the cab really cool. And they've also got some thermal insulation inside them, they're like quilted. So at night when the temperature drops, it also helps to keep the cab warm. And then they've just got these little suckers and stick onto the glass. And a complete set of these is relatively cheap. I think they're about £40 for the whole cab. The windows in our van we purchased from Van Pimps, and I was originally going to fit them myself, but because it's such an important element of the van, we actually decided to get Glass for Vans to do the fitting for us. And a guy called David came round, he made an absolutely superb job. These are a privacy glass, so from the outside you can't actually see into the van. They're very black from the outside, but obviously from inside we can see out perfectly. And then to go with these, we bought curtains fitted into these recesses, and these curtains were from a company called Van X. They're a stretchy fabric, they're black on the outside and then obviously a coloured fabric on the inside, and they do come in a different range of colours, and they simply fit in these little tracks and they slide across the window like that, and they fit really well. And at night time you can't see anything. They're really good at blacking out any of the light. And similarly from the outside, even when we've got lights on inside the van, you can't see anything inside here at all. And they stow away really neatly with these little tie backs. So I think they're quite a neat addition to the van. This is the bench seat in our van, and what we did was we constructed it initially out of 2x2 timber. I got some bed slats from IKEA and made the top section with these springy bed slats. The framework is built out of 2x2 timber, and then it's clad with the Zebrano furniture board. And then inside here what we've got is our Truma boiler, and this does our heating and hot water. So in here we've got a combi boiler. It's dual fuel, so it's electric and gas. It's 4 kilowatts of LPG and 1.8 kilowatts of electric. And then this does our heating and our hot water. So these brown ducts that you see going off the sides, this is the warm air. We've got 2 that go to the cab, and we've got 2 that go through to the back. One into the shower, which enables us to use the shower as a drying room, and the other one goes all the way through to the back of the van. I'll show you that one in a minute, and that gives us some warm air into the bedroom. Throughout the van from front to back we built these high level storage cupboards. The framework is just made out of timber battens, and then they're covered with the same Zebrano furniture board. And in this end of the van we use these ones to store all our cups, glasses and plates. These are all made out of a plastic type material. There's nothing glass or china in here, so there's nothing that's going to break. And then what we did do is we put some additional shelves in here just to better utilise the space. And then working our way down the van, we've got a little TV on a bracket mounted to the end of the shower cubicle. This is a smart TV, so it's got built-in Wi-Fi. And then what we do is we normally stream stuff live over the internet. We can either watch YouTube or we can even download movies. We don't have a TV aerial, and we find that the internet and movies is really all that we watch. So this is our kitchen unit. We built it in 3 sections, and then it's got a bamboo worktop. And what we did do is we put this extension piece on the end of the kitchen with these lift up brackets, just to give us a bit more counter surface, because obviously once you've got the sink and the cooker cut into the worktop you lose a lot of your counter, so that gave us it back. We've got an Argent sink, which is a Thetford sink. What I did with the cutout for the sink, with a router, I made it into a chopping board that conveniently drops into the bowl and stows away. And then this particular sink comes with a draining board. It just clips on the edge of the bowl like that, and then when you're doing any washing up, all the water drains back into the bowl. We've got 2 taps on our sink. We've got running hot and cold water, which is fed from the Truma boiler, so this tap has got hot and cold water. And it's also got this pull-out hose facility, so you can rinse things, and also when you're outside you can actually swivel the tap round and rinse outside, so you could rinse yourself off or have a shower outside, so that's quite handy. It's got 2 different spray patterns. When you press this button, water comes out the centre, click the button and you get more like a shower spray. And then in addition to that we've got this little drinking water tap, and the reason we put this drinking water tap in here is because we didn't really want to rely on the water sources that we were going to get when we were travelling around. Sometimes you can't guarantee that the water's clean enough to be drinkable. So this comes off of a separate tank in the bottom of the kitchen cupboard, and we can just put bottled water in there, and you can get bottled water really cheaply, about 7 litres for about 60 cents in Europe. So it makes sense to put drinking water in there, and we know we're safe then we're making a cup of tea, brushing our teeth, or even boiling some vegetables. So this little drinking water tap that we've got on the end of the kitchen here is fed from a water bottle in here. We've got 10 litre water bottle here. It's got a little 12 volt submersible pump in here, and it's operated by the little switch on there. I've got an electrical disconnect. I can unscrew that, and then I can just simply lift it out of the cupboard. And then above the pan drawer we've got our cooker. This is a Thetford XXX cooker. It's got 3 gas rings on the top, and then it has got the grill and oven combined, so you can either use it for grill, toast or so forth, or you can use it as a conventional gas oven. That's a really handy piece of kit, and it is just like cooking at home. And then lastly, down this far end we've got our 12 volt compressor fridge. It's got a little freezer compartment in it. It's a Dometic CRX50, and we find there's ample storage space in there, and it works really well. The splashback on our kitchen is actually a vinyl printed map. It's a wipe down surface, so you can actually clean this. And then above the splashback we've got more storage cupboards. It's constructed in the same fashion as the other cupboards. They've got a very strong magnet on there, so there's nothing that's going to fall out while we're driving along. And again, this is where we store all of our food, and mostly our dry produce, tin stuff, things like rice and pasta, and a lot of our spices. And then next to the food cupboard, this is the control centre. So this is the heart of the controls for the whole van. Everything electrical in our van runs off solar. We've got 3 160 watt solar panels on the roof. That gives us a total of 480 watts. We've got 3 110 amp hour batteries in the garage below, and then everything generally is run off a 12 volt, and there's 1 or 2 things that are run off the inverter, like some of the sockets. Here we've got the solar charge controller. This tells us what we've got coming in from the solar panels and what's being actually charged to our batteries, and it will also tell us the battery condition. As we can see at the moment we've got probably 120 watts, but our batteries are actually full. Next to that we've got the controller for the Truma boiler. So on here we can set the temperature for the heating, and we can dial in whatever temperature we want, and we can also turn the hot water on. We can have it on an eco mode, or we can have the water on hot, and then we can also change the fan speed. For the lighting in the van, down the centre of the ceiling we've got these recessed LED spotlights. There's no switch to turn these on, they simply operate just by touch. So if you want a light on in a particular part of the van, you just touch the bezel and on they come. And then underneath the cupboards here we've got recessed LED strip lights. And these ones are controlled from an app on my phone. So I can turn the light on, and I can also change the colour. These are colour LEDs, so I can have them red or green, and that's all done from this app on my phone. And then the cupboards in the bedroom that we've got down both sides of the van, they also have coloured LED lights recessed into them, exactly the same as this, and they also work off of the app on the phone. The only one that's different is the one in the kitchen. This is just a pure white light, and this is controlled from a switch on the side here. So we can turn this switch on when we want the kitchen light on. So we don't need to be fussing around with an app on the phone, it's just a lot more convenient. And also when we open the side sliding door coming in the dark, we can just reach in and flick that light on from outside and put light on in the van. This is our shower cubicle. One thing we wanted to have in our van was the facility to have a shower if we needed it, and also to go to the toilet. Inside here we've got a Thetford toilet, I'll show you that in a minute, and then that is a cassette toilet. Now, one thing I didn't want to do was cut a hole in the side of my van and then have trouble trying to make that watertight. So our cassette comes out here into the van. This is all sealed, it's perfectly hygienic. You know, that is a sealed cassette and it's very simple to empty. You know, it's been an absolute doddle to work with, no problems whatsoever. And then it just slides back in there, locks in place, and the door closes, and we've had absolutely no problems with any smells or anything like that. The toilet's always kept really clean, and anyone who goes in our wet room will always know it smells really fresh in there. We have a normal shower mixer in here. It's got hot and cold water supply off of the Truma boiler. Shower tray fitted into the bottom, and then that's all moulded around the Thetford toilet. Now the Thetford toilet is quite clever. The whole toilet pan swivels through 90 degrees, so it moves out of the way, so you've got a bit more room to have a shower. And this is quite a generous shower in our van. It's about 950mm long and 750mm wide, so there's plenty of space in here. And then just to make the door waterproof, what we've got is we've got a shower curtain here which is hanging up on a rail, and then we just pull this across and that makes the door waterproof. And then for lighting in here, what I did is I recessed some LED lights, and then we've got like an opaque perspex over the top just to act like a diffuser, and that gives us absolutely plenty of light in here. We've got a couple of little suction cups to hook things on like towels or wet coats, and there is an extract fan in here as well, which is run on a pull cord, and it's also run on a timer and a humidistat. So if it does get moist in here, the fan will come on automatically, or you can just do it manually on the pull cord. And down the side of the toilet you'll notice there's a Truma vent there, which is off of the warm air heating system, and that vent blows warm air into the shower, and the combination of that and the extract fan running, we can use the shower as a drying room. So if you come in and it's wet, you can put wet coats in here, or even hang up your wet towels after you've had a shower, and this shower room dries out in no time at all. Another good feature of the shower is this handset. It's trigger operated, so this enables us to save water. You know, you're limited to how much water you can carry on your van, so anything like this is a great help. So on the shower mixer you select what you want, hot or cold, and then you won't actually get any water until you press this trigger. And it does produce quite a lot of pressure.
So this is our bed. It's 6 foot long and we sleep front to back, and it's about 5'8" wide, so we've got plenty of space. And these are obviously our storage cupboards. This is my side here where I store all my clothes, and obviously Greg has all of his down this side. His are a lot neater than mine. Haven't got as much stuff. These are our fantastic fans. We have one above the bedroom area here, and we have one also down above the kitchen area. They are extract and supply fans. We have the one in the kitchen area usually on extract when we're cooking, to allow all the smells, cooking smells, to obviously extract out the van.
The mattress for our bed is 6 inches thick. It's 4 inches of a firm foam with 2 inches of memory foam, and it's been manufactured by a company called Custom Size Beds. You give them the dimensions that you want and they'll make the mattress to that particular size. It's really efficient service. It only took them about 2 or 3 days to make the mattress and deliver it to us, and it was really reasonable in cost as well. And then because we've got a solid bed base, a lot of people say that you should have slats to get air circulating underneath your mattress. We've actually got this product called Air Mat. Now this is like a 1/2 inch of honeycomb, and what this allows it to do is to get air circulation underneath your mattress. And again, I'll put all the links in the description if you're looking for something similar. As Lou's just explained, our bed's 6 foot long, but it's made in 3 sections. We had a good friend of ours, Jed, who's a metal fabricator. and he manufactured for us these aluminium frames, and they're built in 3 2-foot sections. If I lift up the mattress here, you can just see the first joint there. What that allows us to do is we can lift these panels out, we can lift all 3 sections out, take the mattress out, and then that gives us the full height of the van back if we want to put anything in here large. This shows you how the bed's put together. You can see the 3 distinct aluminium frames there. That then sits on an aluminium angle which runs down the side of the van, and they're bolted into riv nuts, which is in one of the main steel structures of the van. So it's a really secure system, and that just gives us loads of space in here to store stuff. We've got plastic boxes up the end there, and we can get a couple of decent folding bikes in here. So in the garage here you can see that's our water pipe that's insulated, coming up from the freshwater tank underneath the van through an isolating valve. Then we've got a Sureflow Trial King 7 diaphragm pump which pressurises all the cold water. Then it goes through a little expansion vessel, another isolator, and then that pipe dives off into the van and feeds all of the cold appliances, and it also feeds the cold feed to the boiler. There's a little isolating switch there if we want to turn the pump off. Sometimes you'll find when the tank runs dry, the pump will just keep running because it's trying to suck water out of the tank. So it's handy to have that isolator there just to switch it off if you need to. And in this side of the van is where all the controls are. This is our control panel. It's really a distribution board. So the feed from the inverter and the hookup comes into this, and then there's a changeover switch at the bottom there where we can select main supply or inverter supply, and then this panel then feeds all of the sockets within the van. It also has the 12 volt blade fuse holder in here, and it does all the 12 volt supplies off of our leisure batteries. Just next to that you've got the solar charge controller on the wall there. It's an MPPT solar charge controller from Photonic Universe. It's 40 amps, and then that takes the power from our 400 watts of solar on the roof and then meters it to our batteries, and that's what charges the batteries. And we've actually been 100% off grid all the time since we first put the van into action. We've never hooked up once, and we've had plenty of power. I've got 3 110 amp AGM batteries supplied by Alpha Batteries. I've got a really detailed controls video which explains the installation of all this on the YouTube channel, and I'll put all the links in the description below. At the back of the van here we've got our gas bottle. It's in this purpose-built cupboard. It's a gas slow refillable cylinder. There's a connection on the side of the van, and we can just pull up at a local petrol station and refill with LPG without having to exchange the bottle. And then on the other side of the bedroom here is one of the Troom vents. So this blows hot air down the back of the beds in that space between the garage doors and the inside of the van doors, and it blows a nice warm air curtain up the back of the bed and just keeps any cold drafts away from the doors. So that wraps up the tour of our van. If you're new to our channel, we've done really detailed build videos of every aspect of our Sprinter build from start to finish. There's about 60 videos on the YouTube channel of every aspect, so please do make sure that you check those out. There's loads of useful information for you if you're planning your own build. All the items that I've shown you here in this van tour, I'll list as many as I can in the description below. If you're looking to purchase something similar, you'll find the links down there. And if there's anything that you've seen in this van tour video that you want some further information on, then please do leave me a comment and I'll come back to you as quickly as I can. Just want to say a massive thanks to everybody who's been supporting the channel so far. I've really enjoyed reading all your comments and hope that you found the videos to be useful. Thanks very much for watching. Cheers!